Welcome everybody to the 6th Chinese Knowledge Seekers Workshop, brought to you by the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. And today, once again, we'll be speaking with Mr. Keshe of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute, and also with some members of the Chinese community who are showing us a special reactor that we see on the live stream now. And this is an underwater reactor, so it's kind of interesting. Okay, so without further ado, let's move along and hear from Mr. Keshe to start with, and then we'll move into the rest of the workshop. Mr. Keshe, are you available?
Hello, yes. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening as usual. Wherever you are, welcome you. We hope to learn some more from our Chinese friends. They taught us a lot in the past, and now we are back on the floor again with the Chinese teaching knowledge seekers. We hopefully will learn more in a nicer way. Could you tell us what are the surprises you have today?
大家好，欢迎瑞克一开始是说的欢迎开始语，说这次中国教学，然后第6次，欢迎大家来这里，然后说开始先生在那边是不是准备好了？然后开始说早上好，晚上好，然后说我们欢迎大家从中国春节的假期回来，然后看看有什么惊奇可以给我们展示一下。Rick, could you post the picture?
He's got cylindrical reactors.
Yes.
That's new.
开始 Yeah.
Can you go up? Can you go up, please? Can you go up to the picture before? The other one before this. Is the hole inside spherical or cylindrical? The core inside the cylinder.
Sorry, I didn't have my microphone on there.
Go down to the picture below.
You want the picture on the bottom or the top?
If you can close up into one of those brass or copper coils he has on the table.
Yeah. We can show...
We don't want a fish. I see
here,
fish.
I know. Here we go.
So this is the good...
Okay, it should come through there in a few seconds on the live stream with a close-up of those cylinders.
Are they cylinder inside or a spherical inside?
They're a cylinder inside, and this is his main question is, will a cylinder work in the same way as a sphere, or will it be a different arrangement? How's the question actually? Let me just go to the question briefly here, and it's I designed a cylinder reactor as below, so I want to ask a question that is there any difference between the cylinder reactor and a spherical reactor about the effect on the experiment? That was his actual question.
Not really. What happens, the plasma itself will make of its own sphere inside the core, but it will be very small and compact because in a way you have a vacuum, or you have a different kind of plasma above where the sphere of the plasma finishes inside it. Doesn't make any difference. We have tested the cylindrical cores some times ago. It's just that how it's going to do it, if it's filling it with the gans and how the gans will rotate. It would have been nice if it was transparent and we could see the behavior.
OK， 这个问题是这样子的，就是说，这是孤岛的问题。他说，我现在设计了这一套反应器，然后这个反应器呢，中间的我的这个反应器是圆柱形的，然后问开始先生，这个圆柱形的跟球形的有什么区别？然后开始先生解释回答说，实际上这个圆柱形的跟球形的没有太大的区别，就是形成的等离子体呢仍然是球形的，说我们以前曾经做过这个实验，就是说不是很大区别，但是这个等于圆柱形的这个可能会使这个球，就是这个等离子体会更紧密一些。就是这样子的。
We will see a slightly different field composition in the free reactor, but not much, because the spherical and cylindrical cores behave more or less the same. Once the plasma creates its own plasma, spherical plasma inside. If you had a transparent core, we would have seen this.
开始解释说是这样子的，因为它产生的这个等离子体是基本上还是这个球形的，然后这个还有这个它的自由等离子体也是一个样子。就是如果你这个要是设计的能是透明的话，可能会就说看得更清楚更好一点。
I think Rick, this will be a very nice, good picture with a fish in it. To go on the promoting video on the Keshe Foundation. This is a very beautiful innovation from our Chinese colleagues. Marco is trying to get there, but he doesn't think, he's too big. Marco is submarine. It's too big, but this is beautiful. But I think we will see some effects very soon. Give us a few weeks. I was speaking to Sohail as well. They are on the verge of developing their field detector for magnetic gravitational. We are doing the same here in Italy. So we see how we can expand on that. You can place detectors on these systems and detect how much field you are producing. But this is beautiful.
开始说这个照片特别漂亮，可以放到这个就是作为开始基金会的宣传片的这个照片，然后说现在呢，说可能马上要跟那个Sohail可能再联系一下，这样就说他们在制造这个探测器，这样呢就可以，可能过一段时间等我们有探测器以后呢，可能就会探测这个场，就说对这个进行测试。Okay.
Well, I had a question about that, about this arrangement underwater, and wondering about whether the water interface might enable some sort of effect to take place when the reactor gets activated, when the reactors get activated, like inside the globe part, between the globe and the water. Would there be a chance of seeing light interaction, for example?
Very much so. Very much so.
瑞克的问题是问说，如果这个在这个放在整体的话，放在水里，如果这个反应器启动之后，那么会不会能够看见光啊什么？就是说跟水的相互作用啊？开始说会的。
Can I ask a question? If we can ask the developer, if he's made a vacuum in the sphere, because it's airtight, it's watertight, has he got the possibility to create vacuum in the sphere, in the bigger sphere?
I'm not sure is he online or not. Jin Cao, can you ask him?
Is he on the live stream? He can type in.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Oh, he's not. Gu Dao. Gu Dao.
Kin Chao. Kinchoi.
I don't know. He's not on live stream.
Somebody just come on, say hi. Tak Kin Chao. On the live stream. Is that him? Gu Dao.
Yeah, Gu Dao. Yeah, Gu Dao is the nickname. It's on the internet.
Is he the developer?
A different person.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, so
we need to know. We need to know if there is a possibility. Then it'll be the first time we see the operation on the vacuum.
Okay, so I will ask him after the class.
Okay, no problem. This is fantastic. I love the way you Chinese work. You are innovative and very much totally new insight on the whole operation.
Oh, he said, I'm talking to him. He asked what is the question. I'm asking him now.
Can he make a vacuum in the sphere, the bigger sphere?
Yeah.
And then run his motor, what do you call it, the course. We want to know, I want to know if he can create a vacuum, because it's in the water, it's watertight. It must be vacuum tight as well.
With all those bolts on there, it surely would be vacuum tight.
Yeah, yeah, at least the watertight. So.
Yeah.
Just ask him, can he make it a vacuum? Can he test it for vacuum? If he used
he just tried it's a water cell, but hasn't tried the air, vacuum yet. So
it'll be nice to see if the operation is different with the vacuum and with the air.
Okay.
And can you ask him what kind of gans he's going to use?
Okay. 你能不能听话呀？能不能在这个 live stream 或者什么上听话？就是说，你是想用什么干丝呢？
What are we waiting for? Is he typing?
He's typing, yeah.
What is he typing?
He's typing in Chinese. Where I don't know where. It's Skype or QQ.
How can you see
which? I don't know which trunk, which window he opened. I just a window pop up on my iPad. Which program he's in? I just saw the chat. Oh, okay. It's copper oxide.
Copper oxide. Is he Is he going to nano coat the cylinders?
Jin Cao, could you ask him? He going to nano coat the cylinders? 就是要把那个 反应器做内部涂层吗？它要做涂层吗？
Is he typing?
He types yes.
But where we can't see him unless you have a different screen than we have.
I think we have some Chinese, like the chatting programs maybe, because I can see him on I don't know which program pop up the window, the chatting window. So. So, Mr. Kai, do you think it's better to have a nano-coated inside? Is better if we have the.
It shouldn't be. It actually holds more of the field. What comes out will be homogeneous fields, or above certain bandwidth of the plasmatic fields. Because what it is, your coating becomes your filter.
Okay, I see.
And then after certain strength, when the layers get saturated, then they start releasing a specific. It becomes like laser, monofield below, or become a filter from certain level up.
Okay. So if we have a reactor was inside is nano coated, will be can we use that to attract the particles from the air for the smog?
We will teach this in the coming weeks regarding
the air pollution.
Regarding the air pollution, Sohail is here in end of the month. I'm going to explain to him how to make the systems that it can be commercialized in China. We've seen the system with we had a discussion in the workshops with the Iranians, nanomaterials. These materials will have a problem with them, but on the other hand is a development of the technology. What we will release in the coming time through the Keshe Foundation with Sohail, as it'll be a composite system, because with it we'll bring the jamming system too, which means you can block certain bandwidth, which is magnetic field, gravitational field strength.
Okay, thank you. 我刚才问开始一个问题，因为刚才谈到这个，就是要不要给这个柱形的反应器来做涂层？开始说做涂层以后呢，这个它的带宽可能会比较单一，这个磁场就比较均匀。我说那要这样的话，是不是我们可以用它来用于这个做处理大气污染？开始说大概是要。就是说过几个星期会给我们讲解这方面的问题，然后呢，3月底的话呢，Sohail会去意大利，这样呢，他会跟Sohail谈这个问题，会共同开发这个产品，然后作为这个空气污染的处理。
The air pollution system cannot be run without jamming system, more or less, at this moment.
Jamming, what's the jamming?
Field protection systems.
Oh, okay. It's jam something.
Yeah, not the jam you eat.
I know. The traffic jam.
Not the traffic jam either. It's blocking system.
Okay, it's blocking system. 然后开始先生说，这个空气污染处理呢，是就说一定要跟这个就是一个 jamming system 一起联合起来用。然后 开始后来开玩笑说这个 jam 不是我们吃的这个果酱，然后我说那是就是说交通堵塞的那个jam 嘛，开始说也不是，他说是还是一种防御系统。
Could I ask a question?
Let me tell you something, a piece of maybe news to be. In the coming months, we are testing a system with one of the leading nations in submarines in respect to our technology. I've been told it's no problem. So one of these systems which we develop will be tested in marine condition, in a submarine condition with one of the top 10 nations in the world. And then we see the first stages of the collaboration in underwater and above water systems.
瑞克刚才说要问个问题，后来开始说他先说一个事情，说这个可能会成为一个就是比较一个消息吧，一个就比较重要，说在下面几天之内可能会跟一个世界上比较先进的国家要测试他们一个系统，就是这个海里边就 submarine 的，就是海军的。然后潜艇方面的这个就是做一个测试，然后这个就是说这第一次这种跟这个国家的这个合作。
Part of this technology of the marine which he is showing and what partially Marco is developing here, it will be used in the next steps for the situation in Fukushima.
然后这个系统 ，OK， 这个系统呢是基本上是Marco 在这个实验室他等于是设计发明的，然后这个可以用于测试以后呢，可能会用一部分用于这个福岛的这个事情。Okay, Rick, you have a question, right?
Well, it might be a bit premature, but Mr. Kesh, you just mentioned something that I found interesting, which was that essentially the jamming occurs with the cleanup of the air pollution. So does that sort of insinuate that we need to change the communication systems in order to clean the air properly?
Most of the pollution in the air is not atomic. Most of the pollution in the air is you got to look at the totality where gravitational magnetic field of the Earth keeps these materials floating at a certain position. Is the gravitational magnetic field of the Earth which dictates the layer, the thickness and the thinness of the oxygen or nitrogen in the air. The same is with the submarine condition. It's the gravitational magnetic field of the Earth which dictates the position of the gases in the environment of the upper atmosphere and in the water. So when you have a pollution, you don't look as a matter state. You have to look at it as we do with the copper with CO2 as a gans, and the same with these matters are in a plasmatic gravitational field state. Then if you work in that field, somewhere down the line, you got to understand that all the radio frequencies, all the microwave frequencies used for communication are created by matter state. So in the process of trying, let's say, to extract copper, electron vibration is the electron vibration of the copper. You don't have transistors made of plastic. All our communication systems, the bandwidth of, doesn't matter how you process it, is dependent on the strength of the vibration and the noise which matter state metals can make. You cannot pass, even with the fiber optics, you have a bandwidth within the fiber optics. So it's a matter state. And in the spectrum of the materials in the polluted areas like cities, whatever you have falls within the bandwidth of the plasmatic magnetico-gravitational field of a plasma. So yes, you will interfere. There is no option. So you have to develop new technologies, new systems on a different plasmatic magnetic field strength than the waves.
Okay.
The present communication system, once we start developing it, it becomes obsolete. First of all, it uses too much energy for transmission. Secondly, the plasmatic systems will interfere with it. This is one of the reasons why no UFOs can be detected by the present radar systems. Because radars are in a matter state wavelength. Do you want to translate?
Yeah. 刚才瑞克提过一个问题，说那么因为我们这个处理这个环境污染，就说要跟这个 jamming system 呢要同时用，就是这种关于这个防护系统长体的保护的这个，就是说要同时用。他说那是因为他们两个就是说比较就是必须同时嘛，因为长体的问题嘛。然后开始回答说是这个样子的，说我们的这个空气污染里边的这些个粒子在空气当中，就说在什么地方，就说在不同的位置有不同的密度，然后这种就是存在于空气当中，还有我们的气体是和地球的磁引力场有关的。那么这个实际上呢，它们是一种在这个等离子体的这个场里边这个情况下，然后存在的，然后是在什么状态、什么密度。所以，然后这个所有的这个等离子体的这个场，实际上呢，它是和我们的这个无线通信系统的这个就是无线电呢，是实际上是都是同样的状态，都是物质状态的。说我们的所有的无线电波，它的实际上也是一种物质状态，它都是它的这个一定的。就是说波段的话，都是和我们金属的这种振动这种电磁，就是说都有关，实际上都是一种物质状态。所以呢，它们两个之间呢，这个是就是说肯定是一体的，会相互作用。所以呢，就说不可能一个的话就说单独进行，然后后来又提到说我们的这个无线电呢，肯定最后的话应该是会废除掉的，就是应该会淘汰掉。就是这样。
Is there something else you want to say about that, Mr. Kesh?
Part of the development of the technology, we'll speak more in depth on Thursday, is getting ready, preparing the man for encounters in a different direction. And in a way, what we see as a reactor shown by our Chinese colleagues is that man, once start being able to use these systems, will start seeing more life and interaction under the seas than over the waters. Because the advanced intelligence relied on the ignorance and lack of knowledge of the man to explore the deep seas. And has been a safe haven. So with developing the system like Barco's and what we see here with our Chinese colleague, the time of the closeness of interaction becomes much closer.
OK，刚才瑞克就说，凯尔先生，你是不是还有更其他的一些要说啊？然后凯尔先生解释说，说呢，在星期四的时候呢，我们会把这个更进一步讲关于就是这个，就是这个防御的这个东西，就是这套，就是类似于就是关于这个反应器的这个和水的这个相互作用的。他说今天呢看到我们中国的同事们。就是说做出这种反应器设计，这样呢，就是说会跟这个水下，还有就是说要做的这个水下的这个就是潜水艇的这些个试验，这样的话呢，会使我们人类呢和各个方向上，就是说维度上这些个高智能的就是说。存有吧，就会我们的跟他们的接触就会更接近。以前的话呢，就说在那里边，他们就像是一个比较安全的区，可能我们人类接触不到他们。那么现在的话呢，是说使我们这种就说更接近了，所以可能就说会有一个更进一步的接触。说我们人类已经准备好了，已经到了这个阶段。他说，通过我们今天中国我们同事展示的这个问题呢，因为我们这个是有一个在那个鱼缸里嘛，可以就是在水里边可以那什么。可以启动的这个反应器，所以说我们人类已经到达了这个阶段。
What Rick is showing is actually what Marco has developed in a physical way. It's a copy of his work inside a cylinder, and we have the possibility to be able to develop systems in a much easier way as submerging systems than what I call flying systems.
开始又
，carry on.
OK， 开始又解释说这个呢，就说Marco 呢也就说就是开发了这个系统，可能比这个可能更简单一些。然后呢这种就说可以潜入水里的这种系统。
What you have shown and what we go further with is if you go back to the warning which we put out 2 or 3 years ago in our teachings in respect to have a submarine technology based on gravitational magnetic field systems was a warning given to some governments a few, 2-3 years ago. That this technology, as you're showing it in a different form, is in the hand of 2-3 nations at the moment. And in so many ways, you have opened the door as usual. You Chinese are very good at it, and I said I love when you bring things on the table. I thank you for your openness of knowledge and beauty of the way you do things. In so many ways, what you are showing now, even on the screen, was a very warning we gave to leading nations in attacking another nation, that their submarines will never merges. Carry on.
OK，开始接着解释说，实际上就说在这个2-3年前，我们曾经给过一些个国家一个警告，就是我们可能这个发展这个水下系统可能会比空气系统更容易一些，就是关于这种在水下的这个反应器系统说目前的话呢，可能有2-3个国家也有这种水下的系统。然后开始又表扬了我们中国团队，说我们就是展示我们的工作，觉得我们做的工作特别漂亮，然后还有分享，说非常就是对我们非常热爱，开始说Gu Dao replied he used the what's it called? Hydrogen peroxide and caustic to do the nano coating.
That's good. Let us see what it can be done. Let us see it. We don't forget in next month or two, after we open the institute, these sessions between 1:30 and 3 o'clock, which is the Chinese session time, you become part of the teaching of the classroom. You'll be live from the classrooms with the students. So from now on, our Chinese friends or other groups which will come to present their technologies in different workshops, please come very much prepared that you can teach us as teachers. We are all students to learn. So if you show a video like this or the equipment like this, try to be well prepared that you can explain to students in the classroom and others in the workshop, that we can learn the whole package. You become teachers while you are online and teaching us in what you're doing and what you developed. Do you want to translate?
开始先生说说可能在因为1个月以后吧，1个月2个月之后，这个学院就会大学就会开学了。那个时候呢，可能会有一个专门的这个一个教学，就是课程，可能会让我们中国人就是说会展示我们的工作，希望我们呢到时候能够更准备的好一点，这样呢我们就是都成为就是老师。类似于老师讲课，可以给这个学生们我们分享一下我们的这个整个的实验，就说要准备的可能更充分一点，比如说整体的描述的更细节一点，这样可以更好的就是说可以从我们的工作里边来学习。
Something will be interesting for him to do. Please take detailed pictures and videos of the environment you're putting the system in, and again, every day, every 2 days, take the same video from the same position and see the effect of the fields on the matters, on which side, above, on the side, under the system, and as it was in writing, even the behavior of the fish. You have fish there, we can see it's a yellow, I think it's a small fish, flatfish. How they will change, if they grow differently, and how long you do it. How do they behave when the reactor is submerged and when the reactor is not submerged? Because now you are the scientists who teach us, and we are here to learn.
开始说，就是给这个实验人员的建议，就是说，你最好做实验的时候呢，可能隔每天每2天要就是在相同的角度拍一拍照片和视频，这样呢就可以给大家展示的时候就可以看到对周围的环境的影响。然后呢，你就成为科学家和老师，我们可以向你学习。就是展示的时候呢，这样就说更详细一些，就是要拍一些好照片和视频。
Watch the position of your reactor. How would it tilt if it makes a move? If it moves, just don't ignore it that it moved just because something happened. Understand? Try to be more analytic.
OK，然后看你的这个反应器，就说是浸在水里还是在外边，还有它是如何动的，然后这个运动是如何运动的不要，就说要更有分析性，就说逻辑思维，不要想着它就说反正就是动了或者不知道。
It'll be interesting. Your system is watertight, is liquid tight. Fill in, once you've done your test completed, fill in the whole core with, let's say, gans of CO2. Or fill it in with the gans of copper oxide or any other oxide. And see the behavior and what you see and position it back in the same place. You have made a beautiful system, and with it you can teach a lot. A lot can be learned from it, from the interaction of the copper oxide inside as a gans, and you can't create a vacuum. Fill it up with CO2, copper oxide. And I'm sure if you can't make it, there'll be a lot of people who are prepared to send you enough copper oxide to fill this up, or CO2. It'll be nice to see the interaction between the copper oxide and the CO2 gans. Then we see the interaction of the friction of two field forces.
开始说，你可以把这些个反应器，比如中间放这个氧化铜，然后呢，可能外边呢放二氧化碳干丝，然后看它就是说如何相互作用也许可能有好多人可能会送给你你可以要求好多人送给你这个氧化铜干丝，然后你可以把这个东西都装起来然后看这个场是相互作用，我们可以从中也许会学到很多东西。
Any other question?
Or
can we learn some more?
There's another question from the same guy. He said, one was young and my eye pupil is totally black. Now I found it's become brown. And he want to ask Mr. Kaiser, why? How did they change it?
A lot of children born have blue eyes till the age of 2. And then it changes to different color. The color of eyes is all to do with the structure of the blood. And in a way, the color of eyes allows and creates different emotional interaction.
我刚才问开始的下一个问题就是，因为这也是古导问的，说我小的时候眼睛是黑色的，然后现在我的瞳孔颜色成了棕色的。问开始为什么？开始解释说这个和这个血液有关，还有和这个你的这个厂的这个相互作用。也是有关系的。他说欧洲好多小孩可能生下来是蓝色的眼睛，最后长大了2岁以后可能就会变，说也会有这种情况。Miss 开始the Gu Dao just said thank you for the.
Let me explain to you something in a way. People which have a disease of what I call the nice people, when one character changes to another character, what you call in the present science, due to the lack of understanding of science, as schizophrenic, they can change the color of the eye, some of them, according to the personality which is presenting itself. Even the shape of the eye changes according to the personality. Because one can see the green slightly different than the others. And the change of the color of the eye, you will see it now that you show the submarine system is in a liquid water state conformation development. For example, people with what I call the nice people, one sees a slightly different shade of a black than the other, and one sees different kind of information totally than the other. And for that, sometimes with the people with 2 or 3 souls within their body, each one operates on the different light within the zone of the same eye. And when you look into their eyes, you see the color mixture. I have seen this in a number of occasions, especially in the people who have 2 at least or 3 personalities. Or 3, not personality, but 3 beings in one body. The shape of the eye changes when a different character comes, the color of the eye changes, and when the other person takes over, the shape of the eye changes and the color changes, because with a different shape of the eye creates a different pressure which absorbs different light.
开始又进一步给我们解释说，说有的时候呢是这样子的，我们会看到就是我们平时所说的这个分裂症那么人格分裂症，就说如果你有就说几个灵魂在一个人身体里边的时候呢，就是当不同的人就说会有不同的就是不同的颜色，所以人的眼睛呢形状呢就会变。而且颜色呢也会变，就是说，而且就是说这个颜色跟形状都会随着这个是哪一个人而改变。还有说，这个眼睛不同的颜色呢，会反映出你看待这个世界会不同。就是差不多这些吧。石头给补充一下，我好像有点忘了这块。
好的，开始意思是说，对不同的人格，就说当一个人他的这个整个性格或者整个综合的这个，可以说是意识或者是综合的一个人格吧，发生变化的时候，那么他的这个眼睛的形状或者是颜色都会发生改变，就有点像我们中国人说的这个不同的心态、生活的态度，那么一个人的这个面相可能会有些不同。那个，我现在开始问几个我们收集来的问题吧，大姐。
可以，我已经问完了，孤岛的已经问完了。
我们从这个网络上的这个就是我们的探索者们收集了几个关于止痛带的问题。第一个呢，就是 从这个止痛带的这个说明书里面，我们看到了一个关键的词，叫做梯度场。就是第一个问题呢，就想问一下凯史先生，能不能对这个梯度场，它如何发挥作用，它的一个概念做一个简要的解释。
梯度场英文是什么
？Guardian field。Guardian
field。Guardian field。你问吧，我这个问题我都没听懂。
不是，就是。我不知道怎么问，大姐你问比较好，就是加一个梯度场就好了。他说那个
great，就是OK Mr. Cash, this is a question about the pain pad. His question was when the pain pad had a gradient field, and he is asking what the gradient field means. And how it formed in the pain pad. I think it's from the introduction. It says a gradient field.
The field strength on the skin is much stronger than, let's say, if you put it around your leg, than the center. But at the same time, let's say in the center of your bone marrow, if you put it around, let's say, your leg or your upper leg. So the field strength changes, you have a gradient. So for deeper muscles, thicker muscles, you do not receive the same kind of fields. That's what it means. Because these pads create both gravitational and magnetic field at the same time. This is the first time we've had access to maggraph systems in a way that it can interact with the body of the man.
Okay. 开始说，就说因为人的这个身体这个就说这个场的话呢是不同的，就是皮肤可能最强，然后不同的地方是不一样的，所以他说有一个这个梯度场，所以对不同的地方呢会有需要不同的作用。
I was told by Sohail, talking to him a couple of days ago, that people who use it, for example, around their neck with a neck problem, on the top end doesn't work, or in some cases, if you have a disc damage, which leads to the core to pain, these pads are not so effective on a disc damage. So your pain is to do with your disc, not with a muscle or a tissue damage. The pain you have around your neck or your spinal cord is due to pressure of the bone or disc on your nerve. So they don't work because you don't have a disc to be able to take the pressure of more or less the bone or disc on the nerve which coming out of the spinal down into the organs. So the people who have a disc problem, some might find pain relief with this, but if you have a torn muscle or you have a disc damaged nerve, you'll find out, because it's a physical damage, not the inflammation or pain due to electron, or what you call it, current flow of the plasmatic field in the body, you will not find help with this. So some people are trying this for a disc damage, and you'll find out it will take more than this to sort out the disc, but it might release for sometimes the pain, the inflammation around the nerve.
开始进一步解释这个止痛带。他说有的人呢，他说他刚刚跟Sohail前2天谈过这个事情，说这个止痛带呢可能对有些人的这个颈部或者脊椎的疼痛可能不会管用，因为这个呢有可能是你的这个就是这个骨头的话是骨头的作用。他说 disc 就是一个盘嘛，这个之间的这种说由于这种压力的作用不是 由于你神经这种通讯系统的这个不通畅而引起的疼痛可能会不管用。他说有的时候呢，也许会缓解一点你的就是神经的这个方面疼痛，但是呢，还是就说如果这一类的，可能就说是不会管用的。
我再补充一点，就是我听到的是那个就是说这个止痛带对一些由于这个骨头方面的损伤造成的这些疼痛比如说这个颈部的像这种键盘的损伤造成的对神经的压迫产生的这种疼痛呢，这个止痛带可能是没有什么效果，因为止痛带主要作用于这个如果是肌肉引起的疼痛呢是比较有效的，如果是骨头像这种类似物理损伤吧，比如说这个腰椎间盘突出，因为键盘的这个压迫造成的这神经痛可能是没有什么效果的。OK。
Any other thing you can show us or teach us, please? I've seen some picture of seeds and pots at the beginning.
He didn't prepare for this one. I don't think he's online today. Yeah, Mr. Yan. And maybe some other people may do it, but not this time.
I think he mentioned that it was too cold for growing right now or something, right? Still in winter
yeah.
here? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
可以问下一个问题吗
？Yes.
OK， 那么还有第二个关于止痛带的一个简短的问题，就是关于这个止痛带能否对这个中风后康复有帮助？能否对这个男性的前列腺增生还有女性的乳腺增生有帮助？
我都不会这个词儿哎，我都没准备，这些问题没给我。Another question is whether the pain pad will work for the stroke. What's it called? Rehabilitation of the from the stroke, or other type of like 乳腺增生不会说呀，还有什么词儿？还有一个病是什么？Another type, another kind of.
Yeah, there is another question on the forum by Eric Clausen. It says, does the pad help with broken rib pain? Yes, it does. It depends how the rib is broken, because when the bone is broken, you got to understand the structure of the repair. How the bones do not fuse, but like skin is built up at the point of the fracture, the bleeding at the point of the fracture. So sometimes yes they do, because you have created the inflammation at the point of the breakage by the ribs. And when, for example, when it gets cold or warm, you feel the pain in the ribs, because I've got 10 of them. But there are different ways to get the pain of the ribs reduced drastically than using the pads.
刚才一个问题是 Eric Clausen 问的，在 live stream， 他说这个就是说这个止痛带对于这个就是肋骨的骨折会不会也管用？开始说这个也许这个可能会管用的，因为你的这个骨折的话会引起这个周围的这个肌肉。就是周围的这个组织的疼痛，还有这个可能对这个骨折的恢复呢，也会起到好的作用，所以呢，在这方面可能会有效。
If you had a stroke and use it and let us know.
OK，开始说，如果你要是有一个中风的话，那你要是你可以用一用，然后看看效果是什么样，然后让我们知道。
Next question.
Oh, what was that called? It's the question they're asking is about hyperplasia, but it's different part. Have like two type of hyperplasia. One is the prostate. The other is a mammary gland hyperplasia. For this type of, they are not pain. I don't think they are not painful. So I don't know whether. Does it works for those two type of hyperplasia?
Don't know.
Right?
Explain. Yeah, we don't. I cannot answer you a medical question in a way, but I can tell you, we got to be very diplomatic.
开始说这
You
个
have
就说
to. It's something if you do in conjunction with the help of your doctors or your what do you call you're a specialist, and let them monitor it if you use it, and tell them we are using it, and then let us know the results. We know the results, but I prefer not to disclose, and let's see what you bring on the table.
OK，开始解释说这个医学的问题呢，他说我不好跟你们直接的回答，还要比较就是等于要策略一些他说如果你要是有医生呢一起，就是说你看这个病的话呢，你可以告诉他们你用这个东西，然后看看效果会怎么样，然后呢你们可以跟就说跟我们说这个效果如何他说呢，如果你们说有些东西呢，我们知道结果，但是我们不好把这个公布，就是说你们如果要是提出来的话，然后看看效果如何。
好的，下一个问题，就是有一位提出一个问题，就是关于这个氧元素在太阳系及宇宙的大多数地方，是少数几种最常见的磁性材料之一。那么请问这个呢是在开始先生在教学里面经常提到的。那么请问什么叫做磁性材料？跟其他材料有什么不同呢？
Let me explain to you something which has been tested and is part of the operation of the foundation. We'll announce sooner. As you know, this condition goes with the prostate too. As part of our research, there is some experiment running with this. It's not actually the part of the Keshe Foundation work, but now we merge it. There is a huge result in reduction of prostate and the pressure of the prostate due to enlarged prostate. For those men who are not aware of it, once you pass age of 45, 50, due to very much like the muscle tissues of the stomach relaxes, the same thing happens with the prostate, and the prostate enlarges. And you can go even on the internet and If you go for a ultrasonic scan, what they do like with the pregnant woman to see the child inside the womb, the same way they measure the size of your prostate. And they give you a measurement, and if you go on the chart, it tells you by what age, what size your prostate will be. And then if the large size increases, the size of the prostate increases behind certain limits, then it puts pressure on the blood systems and other things, and then in the ages 65, 70 or before that or whatever, leads to incompetence. So we are looking at this it's part of the development of the Keshe Foundation technology, but with a new insight. Okay. And we will release the knowledge as it comes available in the coming weeks.
开始解释说，就说有一个东西呢，就说医疗上的这个，我们可能很快会公布，就是这个呢是由其他的这个医学机构来就是主持的这个研究，关于这个前列腺增生，他说这个呢就是说一般的人在45岁到50岁以后，可能是类似于像肌肉松弛的现象嘛。所以呢，这个前列腺呢，这个也会就是说会松弛，然后呢，等到65岁以后呢，就会出现问题，比如说就是说应该是不能，就说这个功能上就不行了，应该是比如说像其他的一些作用吧，比如说可能不能憋住尿，我想它是指的这个方面，他说呢可以用这个。就是超声其他可以测试这个尺寸，然后有这个问题。他说现在呢，就说是另外一个机构研究的，那么他们跟凯氏他们一起，现在开始他们做这项就是工作，可能比较有一些很大的进展吧，说近期可能会公布出来。Nathan just asked the question about the magnetic materials. I don't know what's the original term you used. It said from your second book. It says oxygen is a popular normal magnetical material.
Yes, in the oxygen, in amino acid, you need a glue, or what you need, gravitational glue. That it keeps the hydrogen or nitrogen and carbon together. And that's what we say, oxygen in the Earth atmospheric condition, in the water, and in the liquid state, like even in the amino acid, in the gas state, is the gravitational field force center of the structure. It's what is holding you. The reason for it is because I know Nathan is working on the translation of the book, so it's good for him to maybe expand the knowledge. The gravitational field of the oxygen in the liquid state of matter under the Earth gravitational magnetic field behaves exactly as a metal magnet. So it's the connection between the matter and its plasma or a liquid state. That's why you have CO2, that's why you have copper oxide. That's why you have amino acid with the oxygen inside it. Plasmatic or liquidity under the Earth gravitational magnetic field condition for liquid state is or a plasmatic state and liquid state, gas state. The oxygen is a gravitational point, is the center of the holding everything together.
OK， 刚才就是石头问的这个问题，然后现在呢，我翻译了一下，然后开始给解释说，他说这个氧气呢，作为一个这个磁性材料呢，是在我们就是地球的这个整个这个环境里边，它是说它是作为一个像类似于胶水的东西，它可以把所有的东西就等于粘接在一起，所以呢。就是我们说它这个氧呢具有这个磁性，还有其他的有点我没太听好啊，石头你再翻译一下，我刚才有点断续续的。
好的。那么，好的。那刚才开始先生就是说为什么说氧是一个磁性材料？是因为氧在我们所有的，包括身体的结构中，包括物质的结构中，它都是一个等于是一个中心的一个引力，或者说一个像磁铁一样的东西，它把其他的元素呢，或者是其他的场，或者是能量呢，就吸附在它的这个周围，所以它起到一个类似一个磁性材料，所以把这个氧元素。成为这个我们这个地球上或者是宇宙中比较常见的一个磁性材料。OK，可以问下一个问题。那么我们有位这个月红，好像是月红，没事。有个朋友，有个人问呢，这个。关于人的这个情绪的监控，就是比如说愤怒，人处在愤怒的状态中呢，会处在某一种的这种状态。那么，请问开始先生能否设计一个类似腕表或者是身上佩戴的一个小装置，让他可以测量出自己的这些情绪，包括愤怒然后作为一种提醒，让自己马上察觉到。
The next question is because human have all sort of emotions. Sometimes some emotion may be like maybe dangerous. It's like for example, it's angry. So it's very negative. Whether we can develop a type of like devices, like for example, like something like a watch or something, and can detect our emotion and then give our a warning or like a indication, so we can correct our behavior.
Yes, you can.
So it's like same as the detection about the gravitational, the magnetic fields, something like that.
When the emotion does not match the physicality, the result is anger. That is when the gravitational magnetic field of what is in the blood, which is the emotional part, does not match up with the behavior of physicality. It's like a car crash. We call it anger. You can predict in a short distance or near to the time this position. So you can predict it, but don't forget, anger is an instantaneous thing. So it's not going to give you weeks and days in advance warning, but at that point can. If you are well versed in these things, understand these things, you can detect yourself when the physicality doesn't happen with the emotion, because the emotion is what we call, don't forget, your emotion is connected to your soul. So when the soul is aware of something which physicality wants to do, and they don't match, it leads to the angry behavior. Do you want to translate this and then I'll carry on?
Okay, I'll translate first. 开始解释说就是这个愤怒呢，是来源于当我们的这个情感和我们的这个物理上这个不匹配的时候，就是像我们来个出交通事故一样，那么这个时候是发生的但是呢，这个愤怒呢是一个这种即时性的，就是发生的。他说你可以在这个之前一点点的时间可以预测到但是呢，这个是一个基本上是个即时性的东西，所以呢，你不可能就说我提前多长时间来测出这个，就说你会有这种不统一的情况然后开始说你这个情感呢和灵魂呢，它是联系到一块儿的。实际上你自己灵魂是应该可以探测到、意识到的就是说只有你这时候就是说你的情感和你的身体是不一致的这个时候continue please.
What happens, for example, your emotion, which is connected to your soul, is aware of bigger dimension than the fields of your physicality. And at the same time has access to a bigger information bank than the physicality. And you call it premonition. But in fact, what it is that the soul, because of its vast connection with other souls and with your physicality, knows, for example, there is going to be something wrong or something wrong was done that you're not aware of, which allows your emotional side of the brain to receive the information, but your physical part, because of, let's say, your wife or whatever, or your friends, wants to carry on. And then you find out what they want you to do does not fit what your physical part wants to do with what your emotional part, and then you get angry. The two don't match. The two is like a clash of titanics. This cannot happen. And then afterwards you see, I knew. Or you become aware of why you became angry, because physically you're trying to do something, with emotionally tells you the information received through your emotional part, through the soul, tells you is the wrong move, it's the wrong action. Or what people tell you, received in your ear, in physical part, does not match with what your soul or your emotion knows. Or you try to behave opposite to what your emotion shows with physical action. You show it like anger. And you can predict these, but in a way, when you're much closer to your soul, the less time you have for anger, because you feel it before it happens. Or you try to find out the reason why this clashes between your physicality and the soul comes, or your emotion side. You can predict it, it can be done, and you can control a lot of it, because then you listen to your soul, you listen to your conscious, you listen to your emotional side through your blood. Not listening, but you understand the field motion, what it means. Then you bring the physical part in balance with the two, and then sometimes you see you get so angry, and then when you understand, just walk away, because the anger was just because of the clash between the emotional part and the physical part.
这个开始有解释说说这个你的，因为当这个两个你的这个物质部分和这个你的灵魂，就是情感部分，就是说不吻合的时候，是往往是说，因为你的情感和你的灵魂是联系在一起的，而且就是说你的灵魂呢会和其他的这个更高维度的是联系在一起的有的时候这个物质上的东西呢，可能你会从灵魂那方面会得到信息，觉得你这个行为是错的，然后两个不吻合，就会发生了这个情况比如说你觉得应该 一个是就是说别人告诉你什么事情，然后你觉得不应该，你的灵魂上不应该做，但是你耳朵听到的是这样，所以发生矛盾。还有一种呢是你自己的灵魂的期望跟你的这个物质的这个身体的就是说不吻合。他说呢，实际上呢，我们是可以自己在这方面可以就说做工作，你可以就说灵魂上边，你可以应该能预知到你自己会有这种愤怒发生，就这种碰撞所以呢，你会如果自己问为什么会有这种情况或者原因是什么，然后你就会调整两个来相符，这样呢就会应该可以避免这种。碰撞的发生石头，你再补充一下吧，因为太多了，有点落下了。
我暂时没有补充，可以问下一个问题吗？还是继续？
可以。Okay, Mr. Cash. So.
Okay, we only have a few minutes left in the workshop here before we launch into the health workshop.
There is a question here. I'll read it. It's from Jenner Lim. It says, when you're angry, your throat is so painful. Go back to the teaching of the tongue last week, that the tongue is part of the emotional part of your being and partially carries the physicality together. So one is trying to, emotional part of the tongue is trying to dictate the physical part to do things, and then there's a clash directly in between the two in an organ. You feel it in your heart. You feel the anger because these tongue and heart are the organs which shared and operate to give information, receive information both for emotionality and physicality. And when the two don't match, the point of contact is like a fuse. It's the heart, it's the fuse, it's the tongue.
开始刚才说，在这个就是这个板子上面读到一个问题，问说为什么我就是说愤怒的时候，我会感觉到我的喉咙会痛开始说这个回到我们上一周的这个健康教学，他说我们的这个舌头是我们这个情感部分的一部分还有呢，我们身体还有其他的，还有一个心脏，这两个部分呢都是跟我们的这个情感相联系在一起的，所以呢，当这个两部分情感和我们的物质这个身体部分这种如果有冲撞的话，就是会发生在这些个地方会有冲撞，所以我们会身体感受到这个就是这种不适。我们现在只有5分钟了 ，We only have 5 minutes left.
Doesn't matter. Let me explain something to add to the knowledge. One of the biggest point of the clash when the physicality does not work with emotion, which leads to misfunction, is asthma. All the asthma attacks which are not environmental based, which happens usually with children and even adults, is when the information which is through the blood, which goes through the lung, does not match the physicality of the information, and this leads to asthma attack.
Okay. 开始说我现在
99% of the asthma attacks which are not environmental dependent are psychosomatic. Due to the outburst of the anger, it stops being shouting. It affects the connection between the emotional part and physical part of the lung, and leads to what you call an asthma attack. And that's why people with asthma attack forever are on pumps. But if you go to the emotional part and sort the emotional part, they can walk away with no asthma for the rest of their life. And the Keshe Foundation is extremely good in this. If you have an asthma condition, which is an interaction between the physicality and emotional part, We have system and technologies which brings you to the point to understand where the anger sits, and you can walk away. You never even look for an asthma pump. We are very good at it, and at the same time, Caroline has developed the technology which is submitted, as we said before, to the South Manchester Health Hospital for this purpose, especially for children with a heavy asthma, which they cannot express their emotions because of their small in features. The physicality cannot adjust the emotional attack, then they get asthma attacks. And she has developed a simple technology that children can walk away with never touching the asthma pump.
OK， 开始这个时候说，我给你们一个新的，就是说增加点这个知识，就是关于这个哮喘，有的是有幼儿哮喘，有的时候就是说可能大人也会发生这种情况，就是当你的情感部分和你的这个物质部分就是完全不匹配的时候，然后就说可能会就是引起哮喘。说这个呢不是环境的因素，基本上都是我们的这个情感和我们的物质就是身体不协调，就是极度的不协调造成的然后我们开始基金会呢就是卡罗兰呢就是发展了这个系统这个呢非常有效，特别有效。所以说如果你们就是大家有这方面的就是说问题的话基本上可以让你远离这个就是这种治疗这个哮喘的这种泵，你基本上就可以不用它了。如果控制得好，你就基本上就说不会有任何问题。说99%的都是由于这个你的就是情感部分，就是这种心理上情感部分和你的物质身体不协调造成的。
We just really start at 3 o'clock. We got to start our health section. Maybe we can add this to the health section because it's part of the health. Doesn't have to be with the health section. It's a question that says, what causes eczema in your opinion? Eczema is the same as asthma. It's the same source and the same position. Don't forget, if you go back to the teaching of the health section, where embryology has been taught, you find out that your skin is part of your brain. So the emotion of the brain, when cannot be done, shows itself as eczema. What is eczema? Is, look, I'm injured, permanently injured, look, it's a damage there. What do? When you fall, you injure yourself, you go to mom and says, Mom, look, I've hurt there. And mom just kisses it and says, oh, it gets better, I kissed it. Because the attention is paid to. Eczema is people with asthma which cannot be sorted out because they cannot spoke their emotion out. We see it because lung is part of the same structure. We see it in stages, later stages of development into eczema too. So eczemas have an emotional base because it's come from the brain. It's the same source, skin and the brain. Different layers, but if you go to embryology, as has been explained before, you see it. You understand exactly how it can be processed.
开始又解释一下这个 asthma 是什么？是应该是杨晓峰吗？然后这个词我不太知道然后和这个就是哮喘，他说是同样性质的，都是由于这个心理作用。然后呢说可能就是说如果就是说可以得到这个注意力和这个就会好之类的，说都是由于情感的问题引起的，和这个物质身体的不协调。Okay. I think
I think we finish our session.
Yeah.
It's thank you very much
the time,
for the Chinese community and the Chinese Cash Foundation. We learn a lot from you. I enjoy the Chinese sessions immensely because you teach us a lot. and it's beautiful to see how you expand the knowledge.
Cash thank you to Mr. Cash 开始
Thank you.
先生刚才跟我们说感谢我们，说非常对我们就是中国网络教学非常就是感觉特别好，就是可以学到很多东西。然后我们今天的课程就到这里结束了谢谢大家的参与Thank you, Mr. Cash. Thank you, Rick, and thank you everybody for attending this workshop.
Thank you to Luxon for translating and so on, and to all the people.
Can I ask a question, because we raised this in the core meeting as well, now that we have our Chinese?
Okay.
We would like to ask the Chinese community through placing Chinese speaking individuals in the institute in Italy to start planning for the Keshe Foundation Institute in China. That Chinese do not need to come to Europe to be taught, but we start a teaching institute in China directly. As part of the teaching, with having Chinese students here that they can teach back into the Chinese community and establish the Chinese Institute for teaching.
Okay. 开始说就说能希望我们有一个就是说中文的这种教学，这样的话呢，我们可以在中国内，可以就是用中文语言来对我们的这个进行教学，就是不一定非得要去意大利，说希望我们能够建立一个这种学院。
And we are planning for live three-dimensional presentation, if you can do it in China, that the classes go simultaneously with Italy. So you can be taught simultaneously as the lectures happens in Italy, course by course, class by class.
说如果我们能够在中国设立这种教室的话，如果教学在网络上跟意大利就是完全连线的话，可以就是同时进行，这样呢，所有的这个课堂我们这边也都可以看到，我们这边的教学也可以展示到那边。
I know these kind of teaching, live sessions, through one university taught and other universities around China follow, is done. I was shown this by the physician of the Chinese president some years ago when I was there, that when he was doing an operation in the operating room in the university, it was live shown across to the other operating rooms in the medical hospitals around China, that they all learn together. So I know you're used to, your scientists are used to these kind of processes. So we have the facility to do it. If you can establish a Chinese Keshe Foundation as an institute teaching in China, then you don't need to come out. You can stay in your country and be taught at the same level as we do here.
开始先生继续说几年之前他访问中国的时候，他知道就说中国的就是医生做手术的话可以其他医院也同时能够看到，所以说呢我说我们中国可能应该就说对这个这个科技比较熟悉，这样如果我们能够在中国建立一个这个学院教室的话，就可以同时就说跟意大利就是有同等程度的就是教学，这样呢我们中国人也不用去意大利了。
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you indeed. Thanks for your time, Lisa.
No problem. You're welcome. It's my pleasure.
Thank you very much. So we'll see you in the next teaching.
Yeah.
Thank you indeed. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, thanks all. Let's wrap it up here, I guess. And that's the end of the 6th Chinese Knowledge Seekers Workshop. Thanks especially to all the Chinese participants today. It was great. And to Mr. Kesh and to all the production crew and to everyone everywhere. Thank you for attending. You want to say something to end, Lisa, or?
That's it. Okay. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.